Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We're stepping nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Good evening and welcome to the program. It's time for Midnight's Edge After Dark, just like the song says it is. Welcome to the program. We have Six tonight. How you doing, Six?
Yay!
Yay! How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Peachy keen as a jelly bean.
I love peaches.
Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
It's funny you mentioned that song. I just watched that video a couple of days ago.
Peaches come from a can. That song's a banger. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Oh, Bryce will come in and say, "Oh, that song sucks."
Yeah,
Hey, Bryce.
Do you even have a Price impersonation, Tom?
No, not really. That's probably the
No,
closest.
that's my job.
That's Nick's job.
He's
No,
basically
that's my job.
Garfield. How you doing, Bryce?
Hey,
Do you like lasagna, Price?
Do you like lasagna?
I do actually. It's pretty
Do
good.
you hate Mondays?
I don't hate them, but yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's-
you're orange, so there's 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
but I don't mind lasagna.
I don't know
Lasagna's
anybody who's like,
good.
fuck lasagna.
Well, if you do, sue them because they're wrong.
It's like fancy pizza.
Well, that pizza does have cottage cheese, though.
Or actually, I changed that. It's more like bougie pizza. Okay. How you doing, Nick? Speaking of pizza.
Speaking of pizza, yeah, right. I'm doing pretty good. I watched Cobra Kai. I don't know if we'll get into it, but I did watch it. That was a thing. I did not see Captain America: The Great Reset, though. And I'm okay with that.
I finished Cobra Kai 2 as well. We're not going to really get into it as far as like a review or anything like that, but I didn't hate the ending. I was somewhat let down a little bit. It just, to me, again, I stand by what I said at the beginning of the first 2 parts of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Mm-hmm.
The Psycho Kai thing was just too convoluted and complicated, and it kind of drew away from some of the emotional impact, but they stuck the landing for the most part. So other than that, I think most people will enjoy it. What did you think, Nick? Since you got to see it?
I actually really enjoyed it. My only complaint with the season overall, it should have been 10 episodes. That's it.
That's kind of what I'm saying, basically.
But I still really enjoyed like what we got. We got a lot of great payoffs, character arcs. I was really happy. I was really happy at the ending. There are some concerns that I had, which obviously will friend our stream that I originally had that seemed to have been washed away. I'm happy that the show actually had an ending that was rooted in finality. But there are some character arcs I was like, oh, yes. or making so and so prominent focus in. That made me really, really happy to have that. So overall,
No, it
I
seemed to
really
come full
enjoyed it.
circle, yeah.
But man, I just wish they had taken the first 5 episodes and maybe trimmed those down to like 1 or 2 episodes.
They
And
just,
then
yeah, it was too much filler with the kai stuff and all that.
they
Yeah.
could have done that stuff and trimmed it down to an episode. Now, I really said 1 to 2. No, they could have trimmed it down to 1. I get what they wanted to have an important build because this is the last season. And in theory, the idea is great, but sometimes what sounds good in theory doesn't always execute to reality. And I think this is a case of. But that said, though, I still really enjoy it. I do plan on rewatching the whole season through, like just so I can.
I want to do a whole rewatch of the
Yeah,
thing
that
again, just to
too. I
kind of
do wanna
retake
do
it all
that.
in. But that being said, yeah, there's some things I wish they had done or whatever hadn't done. But I'm not going to get into any specifics right now because we also have Brian, that 70s rock fan here. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. The only English language television show I'm watching right now is the amazing Shoresy season 4.
So you watch shows in
Did
other
anybody
language?
understand a single word that he said?
Hey, hosers. Shoresy, the greatest show around right now.
Are you telling me you're like a big Telemundo guy saying that?
Do you understand what he's saying, Nick? I don't.
I thought he was talking about Telemundo.
No,
Is that
no,
what it's
it's
about?
it's a Canadian show.
Mm.
Oh,
bit
he said something
hacky.
Canadian.
Hacky.
Canadian-y.
It's full of hacky players.
Hacky.
Yankee,
Great show.
Boston.
Boston.
So
No, we're
today
Boston, from Boston.
I found out or remembered that I found out that Motorhead had a track on the SpongeBob SquarePants movie soundtrack.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Yep.
You
better
remembered
swim.
that you found out.
That was a while ago.
Well, I'd forgotten about it until I picked up a copy of the soundtrack on CD.
Yeah, that was a
Oh my god,
while
Motorhead
ago.
did that. I forgot they were on it.
Mhm.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, they've had it's not the first time they've had heavy acts, had music on SpongeBob.
You had
actually.
forgotten that it was.
It's actually
I had
happened a
forgotten.
few times.
Yes.
I'm
So
serious.
I
It's happened a
can't
few
be-
I
times.
know
can't
English
believe
is
that
not your first language. Diddly
can't
diddly
believe a
potatoes.
cheesehead is correcting me.
Yeah, I can't understand a thing he's saying, guys. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, it
Something
was
about a
not
book.
technically a new song. I think it was actually a
It's a
re-recording.
remake.
Yeah.
I was
It's
gonna say,
got a
because
run.
didn't they also have like I Want to Rock and a few of those others, or is that just on the show? I don't remember. I don't have the soundtrack.
Oh, it's a great
surprisingly.
soundtrack. It's there's some good stuff in it.
I haven't even seen the movie
Wilco,
since
Flaming Lips,
way back when.
bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I remember.
Anyway.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just say, speaking of flaming lips, because his lips do move. Price of Reason. How you doing?
Good. What's
For the
up?
second time.
Yeah.
Oh, not much. We're just getting started here. Same old shit, different day here at Midnight's Edge After Dark. You know how it is. I'm wearing my Stop I Want to Get Off the Planet of the Apes t-shirt. So that means I saw it live in concert. Prove me wrong.
By the
I
way,
hate every ape I see from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
I have a confession to make, Tom.
You're gay?
He's black.
It's Luke Skywalker.
You're orange.
You were all very close. I saw that Captain America. I saw that Captain America 4 movie.
Oh,
I
you
saw
love
Captain
great things.
America.
Did you see it 2-6 or no?
No. I
thought you
passed
were gonna-
on Captain America.
I was thinking about seeing it today, but I was like, I don't want to wait till 5 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I saw it and it was kind of crappy.
Wow, you
Aw.
don't say.
What
I
a
wish you were-
shocker, Princeton.
I know,
wish you would-
right?
I wish you would have said you were gay.
No, sorry, but
Because then I
trust
have the
me.
new. I have
See,
the
seeing
gay
Captain
cat
America
song for it.
4 probably makes makes me.
Make you
One could
gay?
argue that the fact that I went to see it makes me that.
Well, have you heard the gay cat song? That thing's amazing. Have you seen it, 6? Did I send that to you
What's
yet?
the
No.
gay cat song?
Oh, probably not.
What?
Okay, I'll have
That
to
sounds
do
like a
video.
cat in pain, fear,
No,
or is
it's
about
not.
to throw up.
It's not. He's mad or whatever. Here, I'll find it. Because you got to see the video too. He's just talking.
Put on the video.
Oh, come on, YouTube. Seriously?
Seriously.
Blame Culture, he introduced me to this.
Snow Dog's got a version of this, different song though.
I love this song.
Good morning. Why are you
Why are you
gay?
gay?
Why are you gay? Why are you gay? You are gay. Why are you gay? Why are you gay? Why are you gay?
We need more gay cats.
You are gay. Why are you gay? Why are you gay?
We need more gay cats in
Why
our
are you
life.
gay?
Seriously.
You are gay.
Gay cats rock.
Usually, cats, like Six said, usually this is before they throw up, maybe a hairball, or they're throwing up. That's the kind of sounds they make.
I think that cat was scared
That's possible too.
based on looking at him.
It's possible.
I think we were supposed to be sitting here laughing and praising the song, though. Oh, it's such a good one. Yay, Culture. Tom's muted. He's mad. Tom's mad.
He's gay.
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, it had a good beat.
Yeah, I get it. You're just too sensitive to kitties. It's understandable.
Maybe you're too insensitive. Next, you're going to tell me I'm overreacting.
No, I could tell you to calm down. Is that the good one? Is that the one I'm supposed to say?
I love
now?
you, Tom. You're a very good friend of mine. Just going to keep remembering that. Very
All right.
good. Yeah, because
Anyway.
Culture had his 30K sub
Yeah, I showed up at the last minute.
celebration. Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Good job, Culture.
He's gay.
Never shows up here.
Anyhow, speaking of gay, did you guys hear that Luke Skywalker's gay?
Apparently.
In my head canon, he is.
So
Well-
not only is he attracted to his sister, but he's gay now as well.
Oh,
He's covering all the bases.
he's like all the Pornhub videos.
Yeah, he's gay and incestuous.
Yes.
So what this is all about? So where did this come from? This comes from Mr. Shatner, actually resurfacing a article from back in 2016.
Right. I remember this as some old dumb thing. I don't know why people are now, revisiting this dumb thing.
Yeah,
He already said it a long time ago. That's why when Shatner was saying, I'm like, this is old news. I don't even understand I mean, I guess it's funny that Shatner actually remembered this and brought it up and was making fun of it. That is kind of funny. But Mark Hamill has been saying crap for years, and this is just more crap that he said.
Well, and I just took it as the opportunity to make gay Luke, and I thought,
To be, I mean, we also
look
got
at
to
that
remember.
stash. What were you gonna say, Nick?
I was gonna say, I know Price said it meant him mentioned he was years old. To be fair, I had no idea. So maybe to some it's old news, but to some of us, it's also new news. But it's not surprising when you put into perspective.
No, nothing. Nobody's
like
shocked
he's-
at this point.
It's not like he's gonna be like, oh yeah, Luke's totally straight. Even if he actually did believe that in his own head, he won't say that because he has a crowd that he wants to please, and if he has to say the right thing to please that particular crowd, he's gonna say it, even if he doesn't.
I love
actually
all
believe
these pics that I've shared, but I think this is my favorite outfit.
it. Oh, it's Josh Hammond's birthday. Happy birthday, Josh.
That's
Oh, is
pretty.
it?
Yeah, he just said, yeah, happy birthday.
Why
dude.
does
Where's Bat Tom? I'll do a super chat for Bat Tom. Screw it. I'm doing this.
Why
What were you
does he
saying,
look
Six?
like? Why does he look like Javier Bardem on the thing?
Ask Grok. I made him on AI.
Oh,
with
okay,
Grok.
okay.
I just said make
That's
make
pretty.
I make Luke Skywalker, Return of the era, Jedi era, gay. And this is
Oh
what
my
I get.
gosh, that's funny.
That looks like actually something out of like Buck Rogers.
I agree.
I'm sure Buck does, Roger. Yes.
At least Buck does. He bucks and bucks all night long.
Woo-wee.
So Mark Hamill claiming that that Luke was gay almost 10 years ago, making the news rounds again because William Shatner had to bring it up. Who has me blocked on X, by the way.
Oh, why are you blocked?
I have been for a while. I don't know what the hell I did. I've never said a cross thing to him. I don't understand it.
Is he known for blocking people?
I was probably
Sometimes.
on a blockchain.
Yes, he has done a bit of that.
No, he has done a few. I remember back in the day, I think the Doomcock said something and he blocked him, but then he ended up unblocking him. So I know there have been times that maybe
This was more recent, like within the last couple months that he did it. To me. That's
it's
what I
also
don't
possible
understand.
that maybe you said something cynical that you were actually saying something good about him, but the way he quickly read it, you thought you were saying something bad about him.
I've heard that. That's kind of what happened to Doomcock. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to him at the time, and they reversed it. But yeah, sometimes like Shatner just sees something, and if he doesn't fully read it in depth, and it looks like something that's like saying something bad about him.
Well,
Well,
I'm not
he-
as
he's
important
al-
as Doomcock.
He
So.
is old and Canadian, so you got to give him a break.
Yeah, that's true.
no, I understand. I'm not.
like you.
I like Shatner. I understand.
Me
It's
too.
nice-
That's why I don't understand. I've never ever said anything. Even when he does get into his stupid politics shit, sometimes I rarely. Maybe I did say something one time to piss him off. I don't know.
You say a lot of
I tend
things
to
that,
without realizing it.
yeah.
That happens to me sometimes too. So
Like
I
telling
understand
Six to
that.
calm down.
We all have our moments. I'm not.
No,
I'm
this
not
is
That's
overreacting.
crossing a line, but that is crossing a line.
Stop overreacting all the time and calm down. Jeez, that's. I don't know.
No,
why
I
that's such a-
usually tell you, stop it. That's how
And
I
Mikey does
usually-
too. Y'all treat me like a dog. Like, stop it! I'm gonna smack you in the nose.
No, don't smack your dog in the nose
No,
or
I know.
anywhere.
I've never smacked Sadie. I think the closest I ever came, she gave me one of those looks like she was going to come at me, and I'm like, "You better not!" And she cowled.
Well, you
It's
say
like,
you say those
that was
smacks,
about it.
You say they'll smack for the midgets.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just before you
He's a-
throw them.
Candle.
Oh, this is good.
I mean, it's a good beat. It really is a good beat.
Candle.
Oh.
It's like he's explaining to his master what's wrong. He's like, "Look, I'm gay. Okay, look at me."
Oh, my God.
So yeah,
I
that
love
really
it.
was like not even really news that Luke Skywalker is gay. I mean, he's not really. I mean, really, let's be real about this. We want to get like serious. Like he has in the extended universe, he has Mara Jade. That's obvious. As Brian joked before, he was clearly wanting to jump Leia's bones, right? I mean,
She was the predator in that scenario.
is that what you think?
She was after him.
That's not the story she told later on to Ronan Farrow or whatever fuck his name is.
Do you want to put the tweet up?
Should we? I don't even. I can't. Well, yeah, as I say, I don't
I'm
have
sending
it.
you a screenshot right now
Yeah, if you got it, go for it.
because he doesn't have me blocked.
Well, you're fortunate.
Wow.
I'm a poor, unfortunate soul.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Open it up. Bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, so this is what he did. He just shared a retweeted, or what do you call it? Yeah, and then at least someone now it finally has a community note on it about it being a 9-year-old article.
Can you make it bigger?
That's what she said.
Pardon?
So it says, for
I
those
will never not be
Star
kind.
Wars fans who are trying to tell me Disney ruined everything, I assume you're referring to Mara Jade. Hamill actually ruined it for you when he revealed Luke Skywalker was gay. Mara being struck from Star Wars canon was part of her annulment agreement from the Force.
See, the fact that Tom and I talked about this a little bit before the show, but the fact that he's bringing up Mara Jade as the reason that Star Wars fans are so upset. Like, I have a whole list of things that I'm pissed off at Disney about. Mara Jade is not even on that list. So
No, it's near the bottom, yeah.
But that's a valid reason, though, because wasn't Mara with Luke?
In the EU, yeah.
in the EU, and the EU was part of the original canon continuity. That should have been a thing that absolutely counted and happened.
Well, it was
And-
part of, I mean, since it was part of the EU and George Lucas himself didn't really give two shits about the EU so much. But,
Mhm.
and I understand if that's first on people's list, that's totally fine. I totally respect that. But as far as, you know, the things that we as a community have been mostly vocal about, I don't feel like Mara Jade is high up there.
No, not really. But I
Okay.
do
Than
understand
the
that.
garbage TV shows and movies that they put out.
I do understand because she was a very popular EU character.
Oh yeah, huge.
The fact that she's pretty much been done dirty by Disney isn't lost on the fans, that's for sure.
Yeah, because she had been fan cast and
my understanding is, wasn't she one of George's favorite EU characters? Because she even shows up in some other video games and stuff. Because she's in like that fighting game and some other stuff. I thought she was kind of a big deal in that part. Like I always thought that
she's definitely a big deal in the EU. Don't like EU stands don't come at me because I completely recognize her place in the EU. I'm just saying as far as George Lucas is concerned, I'm not so sure that, but he had nothing to do with it. So, but Disney should have recognized the importance that she held in the fandom, and
They
they
probably thought of it as, well, these are chapter books and these are video games, these are comic books,
exactly.
and millions of people didn't watch them, so we can easily get away with writing them off as legends. And they had no idea how uproarious the actual backlash ended up being, and still chases them to this very day. They probably thought it was something that not many people were going to care about, and clearly they underestimated the fan base of the EU.
Let me rewind a bit. Take you all the way back. 2015 when Disney bought Star Wars. They wanted to make Star Wars with a female lead. Why didn't they make like a Mara Jade trilogy that happened like post Return of the Jedi, just leading up to where she met Luke or something like that? That would have made more sense, don't you think?
Because they would have had to pay whoever first introduced Mara Jade.
Probably.
Yeah,
Right.
pay the creator, and that's something.
But I thought that would have been a good way to kind of get them time to kind of get their shit together to write a fucking trilogy of sequels.
No, that would have been.
And then you have a character
go.
that you can bring in that way. You know, that would have been so much smarter, and they would have had their cake and ate it too, if you ask me.
You know, if they had gone with established lore and moved forward with characters who were already like in existence, they wouldn't have to have come up with a plan as much, because at least they had a basis of where to start or leave off from. Instead, they decided to start fresh in their own eyes, and they were kept saying, "Oh, there's a big plan," and it turned out we always like, "There's no plan," and then they finally came clean. There's no plan because they didn't know what to do with any of these movies up until the week before Fall of Skywalker came out. They were working on these movies. Man, what a disaster! This is still, I think, one of the greatest movie tragedies in the 21st century. Is the fall of SW. It really is, because of what could have been had they gotten it right, and they didn't just like get it wrong; they got horrifically wrong.
The fact that always baffles me is that a real studio saw The Rise of Skywalker and said, "Yes, we'll release this movie." It's like, it's
Are
so
you kidding
bad.
me, Price? Actually, I have to push back on that. That's not what happened. It just got to a point where they're like, they have no choice.
Right.
That movie was just released. It wasn't like they saw it and were like, yeah, we're going to release it. It just happened.
I don't know.
That movie was being finished the moment they put it out in theaters.
All I know is if I had the brand Star Wars, knowing that it's worth billions, and that would be like, quote unquote, the final chapter in the quote unquote Skywalker saga, I would just intervene and say, I don't care what you have to do. You're not releasing this. Like, I know how bizarre that sounds. I know maybe it's not even possible at some point for various reasons. But man, that has to be one of the worst cobbled together pieces.
Oh, I
of
agree
crap.
with you.
It's just it's not
That's
even a
how
movie.
it got there. And that's what I'm saying is like, it wasn't so much that they decided to release that. It got away from them. Right. Like that's
it was one of
it
those early occasions where one of these big Disney movies that they keep refilming over and over again in order to try to save face. It was one of the first big ones that they did that.
Yeah.
And ever since then, they still haven't learned that lesson. They're like,
Rogue One
let's
was
do what we did with Rise of Skywalker. Why? That one was crap. They ended up spending on Rise of Skywalker 400 and something million secretly, and I don't even know if they barely broke even, if at all. I don't even know if they broke even. So the plan of whatever they did with Rise of Skywalker failed. Why did they keep trying to do it over and over again?
I don't know.
Sorry, I just
the
got
end of the- no,
done with
you're
Captain
fine.
America
You're
4.
fine. Like, yeah, we're gonna ask you about that in just a little bit. Actually, that's why I didn't ask you at the front because
No,
we got
but I won't
story
get
coming
into
up.
the movie itself. But the reason why I'm getting annoyed now is because while I was watching Captain America 4, it had Rise of Skywalker vibes. I actually, while I was watching it, was saying to myself, you could trace back this stupidity to Rise of Skywalker. The let's film more, let's refilm
Actually,
it.
Rogue
let's
One is
refilm
the
it.
first time they did that, but it
What'd
worked
you
out
say?
for him. With Rogue One was actually the first time they did that.
Yes.
But it worked out for them then. Then they did it
That's
again with Indiana Jones. Don't forget that.
Right. I mean, the thing is that with Rogue One, that may have been like the patient zero or whatever you want to call it. The only thing with Rogue One is that they had a different director come and pretty much film the third act over again, and that director wasn't a complete bozo, so he somehow put something together with the Battle of Scarif. But really, even when I watched that movie in the theater, I thought that the first two acts were shit. I still think that they're shit. And really, the only the final act of the movie is pleasant to watch. If you made me watch Rogue One now, I just fast forwarded to the last 40 minutes, watch them, and that's all I need to see. I don't need to see anything else. And people really are forgiving. Everybody is forgiving because of those last 40 minutes, because of the ties to the original trilogy, because of the Vader scene. People are just very, very, we're swept away with the fan service or whatever it is. But the truth is that Rogue One itself is a very mediocre movie at best.
So did Red Hulk have a moment where he Vadered?
He Vadered. Oh God.
So what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week? The Red Hulk Vadered! He Vadered!
She probably thought that was going to start trending.
But sorry, I'll be quiet now.
She turned a noun into a verb.
Is he an invader in space then? A space invader?
That's like me going around saying, I Nick Wisered! I Nick Wisered!
That's cool, though.
That is kind of cool. What was that like? It was diabolical. It was huge.
Huge.
You know what's huge? Oh, we got some super chats. That's what's huge. We got ActionCom sending in 5 smackerinos saying, Happy Valentine's Day. Look it up. Where are you going to take your side, ladies? I got to have up front. How can I have side ladies if I don't have a regular lady? Does that work? Oh, that's Mikey. That was one Mikey. Huh?
I have a few side chicks.
You got a few side chicks? Well, that's not surprising.
Well, I got side dudes.
Where you guys got any big plans for tomorrow? Anybody?
No.
I'm going to do this tomorrow.
I'm taking my kids out for heart-shaped pizza.
You're going to rub your legs together?
Yes, like an
how
insect.
Crickets make noise.
I'm going to sit around.
My wife will be nice to me by sticking around and remaining.
I thought that was going somewhere else after sticking.
remaining.
She's not going to file for divorce.
Exactly.
She's not filing for divorce this year.
That's about as far as she's going to go.
I also saw that stupid Hard Eyes movie, by the way. Did I tell you that already? I don't remember if I told you that.
I don't even know what that is.
When did you see it?
So there's a horror movie that I guess they wanted to do for Valentine's Day. I don't know. It came out this week. I don't even know. I saw it. It was such a dumb movie that I can't even remember if I saw it yesterday or not. I think it was yesterday. Although I'm not sure. Maybe it was Tuesday. I don't even know. In any case, I saw the movie and it was dumb.
Is it a date? That's a horror movie, right? Or
yeah, it looks like a
right. I mean,
Valentine
it starts off like the first 5 minutes, you get like a real slasher, and I almost thought for a second, oh, okay, this is kind of like in Halloween, but they're doing like that it's on Valentine's Day. A guy that sees couples and wants to kill them, like a slasher. And you know what? I didn't hate the idea. The first 5 minutes of the movie, they kind of show what the movie could be. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Let me see what they're going to do with this. And it's kind of gory and a lot of interesting stuff happens. And you're like, okay, they're really all in this gory Valentine's Day killer. So I'm like, okay. And then there's like a title credits or whatever it is after the first 5 minutes. And then there's like a lady working in an advertising company. And she's all sensitive and she talks to other ladies, and then a guy shows up and she flirts and she does like him, she doesn't like him, they drink coffee and shit, they're talking about like their feelings. And then I'm just thinking to myself, what is this crap? And like from time to time they reintroduce the idea that there's like a slasher, but they thought like, oh, isn't it a good idea if we'll do a rom-com that's also a slasher movie? And my answer to that is no, it's not a good idea. It's a good idea if you're like an idiot, then it's a good idea. But I mean, if you actually, it's either a slasher film that you take seriously and you're like, okay, I'm invested, this is a real slasher movie, or it's a rom-com. And who even wants to mix a rom-com with some stupid slasher thing? This is so like trying to like, appeal to people on Valentine's, maybe some dumb Gen Z idiots. I don't know what they're going for. I saw the movie and I looked on Rotten Tomatoes and it's like the best thing that ever happened to them. And it has like an 80 from the critics and 80 from the audience. I don't know who would give that movie an 80, really.
But isn't this what they used to call high concept? Someone stitches together a bunch of different ideas thinking this will be the greatest thing ever. Because some people like this, some people like that.
You know what? Sometimes these things work. Like, I'll give you an example. A movie that I think wasn't great, but at least like had something. It also had its issues. But let's say Cocaine Bear. At least like it was funny, but there was a bear and he was eating people, and you kind of just get behind it. But in this case, I think that the two very different tones of like slasher and stupid rom-com doesn't work for me. And the worst part is that the rom-com parts cheapen the slasher thing, because once they're sitting around and they're just like talking about nonsense, it's like once already some guy, even if the slasher parts are filmed pretty well and presented pretty well, it's like I can't even take it seriously. And then like there were a few dumb twists towards the end that I saw coming from 70 miles away, and they were also crappy. But go on.
The problem with that is that it should work, right? In all honesty, like there is a way. They're close enough in the sense that you have usually people who are fawning over each other and stuff like that. Mix that with a horror element. I could see it working. You want to know why? Because it has worked already once before, and a few times at least. One being like So I Married an Axe Murderer, but it doesn't sound like it just meshed well here. I don't know what you saw exactly, but yeah.
Well, it sounds like it was trying to appeal to men and women.
Yeah.
You take your date there on for Valentine's weekend, and then maybe at the end of the movie she's all wound up and she kind of whispers, let's skip dinner and just go home.
I guess so.
And then everybody's happy, and then they attribute that to the movie.
Maybe. And then Action Com says with another 5. Oh, you had some more to say.
Actually, Action Com said you said this one wrong.
Where are you going to take your side, ladies? Happy Valentine's Day. I did say it wrong because I'm just used to correcting stuff if it looks like it's spelled wrong.
Are you happy now, Action Com? Did he get
Is today Valentine's Day or what?
Valentine.
He says
is
to
that
look
what,
it
like,
up.
Pre-Valentine's Day is?
It's got to be something.
Day?
Valentine's Day is the day before Valentine's Day. Guys used to spend the time with second or third most important woman in their life. Wow.
That's why I'm with you guys today, because
I guess so. That could go sideways.
I have no way to go with that.
Action Com sends in 5. It says YouTube have been sending me clips to something called Saturday Night, where two actors playing Chevy Chase and George Carlin argue. Have you seen it? Yes, I've recommended it actually.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent movie.
Jason Reitman, his son, directed it. I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good too. It's not perfect, but I didn't hate it. I actually rather enjoyed it.
It has some of those true story or whatever you want to call them, biopic kind of tropes.
Right.
When it comes to these kind of things where it's like they have like certain callbacks and things that are like, oh, of course, this. And it's like, yeah, that didn't exist yet for another 4 or 5 years or whatever.
Right. And the other thing is that it's supposedly happening 90 minutes before the premiere of the first Saturday Night Live episode.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But they're shoving in like stories and lore, like from even, let's say, that could have happened months leading up to this. It's just that they want everything to happen in those 90 minutes to like explain like how crazy it was, and I'm okay with that. But you could tell that a lot of sort of creative liberties were taken to make it
Exactly. That's basically what I'm getting at, right?
and
Like,
you feel it. You're just
Yeah.
like, there's no way that all of this is happening in the same 5 minutes. Kind of like the Bohemian Rhapsody syndrome. If you ever saw that Queen movie,
a little
there's
bit, but not as bad.
Yes.
it's not as bad as that. I admit it's not as bad as the Queen Bohemian Rhapsody. But the reason I always think of that one is because there's a scene that they're in the studio and they can't come up with a song, and meanwhile their accountant is sitting there doing their books in the studio next to a drum set for no apparent reason, and then they like come up with a riff, and while they're like jamming on the song, they appoint him to be their manager at the same time, and then 5 seconds later the song is finished. It's just, it's too much. There's no way that like within 2 minutes all of that happened, and that happens in Bohemian Rhapsody all the time. Maybe the first incident I really remember is actually The Doors, where Jim Morrison, they need the opening for Light My Fire, and Jim Morrison goes to have a cigarette outside, and like he doesn't even take one puff of the cigarette, and they're like, okay, we got the opening, is this good, is this good? And
That's
like,
movie time, though, that in that sense, because he even tells him, go outside for a bit or go do something for a bit because it's going to take me a bit to put this together. So like, and in reality it took him like 20 minutes or whatever. Like, I think this is a real story.
I don't know,
so
man. I think
it wasn't really that long, but I get what you're saying, and that's kind of what I'm getting at too, is because you've got like this. I just don't want to like say specific things to like ruin it, but like, they have callbacks to this and that in the background, and they're like, maybe not for this show, but next time, and that's stuff that is not going to come till later down the road. The Milton Berle story, for instance, is one that's way out of whack, right? Because he was not there, as far as I know, on the opening night. As far as I know, his story doesn't even come until like 3 or 4 years in, because he hosted in what, season 3 or 4, I think it was. All that shit happened then. So like, and that's why they brought it in, though. It's because it's one of the more famous stories, because he's one of the few people that was never allowed back. That's why. And all the shit that he did in the movie did actually happen, just not then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
like he did
understand.
whip his dick out and show everybody. But
Yes,
it
I
didn't
believe
happen
that.
differently than it happened in
Yes,
the
but
movie.
did he helicopter it though? Did he helicopter
He
it?
had a big one. As far as
Speaking of helicoptering,
Yes.
I'm afraid I do have to parachute out, even though we
you do
haven't
this
really.
all the time.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm under orders. Otherwise, there will be
You
no
guys
val-
aren't lovers. Like,
I will
seriously.
not. I will not exist until Valentine's Day if I don't leave now.
That's true.
So
Well, we're always glad to have you be a part of the
I-
Nerdy Dozen, even if it's just for a short time.
I know, and I appreciate you very much, always including me, Tom. Thank you, and thank you everybody for watching tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll see you all next time.
good night, Brian.
Cheers.
Indeed.
Good
Take
night.
care. Well, we got to get through these super chats because we got some other stories to get
let's
to. We
do
got
it. We got a bunch of them,
FKHC
too.
2005 sending in some love for Clobbering Times. Thank you for that.
Bobby.
We appreciate that and always think of Clobby. We got Jason Webster, who sends in $5 Australian dues. Says, I'm happy the K-drama, The Trauma Code Heroes on Call, is doing very well globally. I really enjoyed the dramedy series, which is very entertaining. I'm not familiar with this one. Sounds like it'd be like a a doctor show, though.
Do you watch a lot of Korean
Rescue
dramas?
911. I watch no Korean dramas.
Oh,
I watch Cobra Kai. That's about as close as you're going to get. Nicholas Horton sends in a member chat for 39 months. That's
Wow.
amazing. Holy crap.
when's your next members thing?
I think we're shooting for this weekend. I'll definitely pin Andre down tomorrow morning. Nicholas Horton says, Hail everyone. Tom does the ending of Cobra Kai set up upcoming Karate Kid Legends movie. I don't mind spoilers and cast announced for Motu. There has been a bunch of cast announcements for Motu. I think we're going to cover that. It's been on the docket to cover on the morning show because Andre wants to get into it eventually when we have time. As far as the Karate Kid thing, I don't want to give away too much, but no, there's no setup. Thank God for the fucking movie.
That's actually encouraging. I haven't seen
That's
those
the
new
only
episodes
good
yet,
part,
yeah.
really. I'll say about that. That's what I will say. I mean, I'm not saying the show's bad. I'm just saying that is one major good thing.
It's a huge plus that the show wasn't a trailer for something else. I'm so glad
Exactly.
it wasn't. And I'm not saying that as like at least it's not this. I really did mean earlier when I said I enjoyed the show and on its own merits, despite some of my criticisms. But hey, you can't be afraid to criticize even the things that you love, and I'm one of those guys.
They didn't Disney Plus it. That's what you're saying.
God, in terms of a quality dip, no, not at all. But we
No,
got a
also,
super chat
like,
because it's John Chapman's birthday.
I'm saying that. It's Josh Hammond's birthday. I didn't know that. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Josh.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Josh! I'm just throwing in a pizza into my oven.
I gotta talk to you. $2 is not enough. I used to get 20, and inflation has brought it up to 25. $2 ain't gonna cut it, buddy. But since I'm already here, I don't want to disappoint the child, but you're a deadbeat father, Nick. I just wanted to tell you this. In front of your children, of course. Anyway, Josh, I know your dad's a deadbeat and he only paid $2 from me to come and show up and talk to you. So really, you're going to get like the bare minimum. Okay, so like, hi, how you doing? Hey, kids, I'm Batman at the party. Josh is cool. Happy birthday, Josh. Hey, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. That's your $2 worth. That's even more than your $2 worth. Because I'll be honest with you, Batman's got bills to pay, okay? I got to eat, all right? I got to feed an Alfred. Do you know how much an Alfred eats? Like 3 times a day, okay? And I got a Robin to feed. And kids eat a lot, right? Like they eat constantly all the time. Anyway, and I got a girlfriend, right? Like Catwoman, she's not easy to please. She's a jewel thief. Do you think it's easy to buy shit for a jewel thief? No. Anyway, Josh, you're cool, but your dad Nick's a deadbeat. Get some more money.
Well, Tom, I've been throwing some Stofers in my microwave, and me and my kids are going to be eating that real soon. It's going to be huge.
Boy, he was not easy on you, Nick.
Sometimes I wish I could eat like Nick and just have pizza all the time. It sounds like a great life.
You're darn right. It's a good life, Nick. Wait, I'm Nick.
I don't even know who's who anymore. But thank you, Nick, for sending in $2 to which Josh Hammond.
The Southern Nick thing is the greatest thing.
I know. For some reason, you always go Southern. It never fails.
Southern Nick is great. It's a great thing. I don't know why.
Howdy, y'all. It's diabolical.
It's huge and diabolical on Toxic Tuesday.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
John Riker sends in 5. How you doing, John? Says, I didn't know that was going to be an account. There was going to be an accountant too, I think he means. Anybody else know? I think it took them too long to make it. Oh, it's funny you're just mentioning it, John, because it's been a bit of a meme around here because The Accountant is one of Mikey's favorite movies. And we talked about the upcoming films. He was very upset that we weren't all more excited for The Accountant too. You guys remember that?
Yes, I do remember it.
Yes, so it's kind of become a new meme.
The thing is that I thought that The Accountant 1 was all right, but I didn't think it was fantastic. I just thought it was okay.
And you lost so much respect from him that day.
I know. But you know what? I didn't say it was awful. I didn't say, and I meant it. It's not an awful movie. It's just like, I don't
Mikey's
think it's
sick, so hopefully he feels better. I don't know if he's listening or not, but we love you, Mikey, so get better. And so he's our accountant. He likes to think he's a superhero and accountant, which he kind of is. So he is a Mexican Iron Man after all. But thank you for that. And then we got Marks 47, who's been here for 45 freaking months. Jesus. Wow. That's a long time. I think that deserves that.
I think he's been here longer than me.
Probably. It's been a long time. Joe's Atmospheres sends in a $4.99. Says Force Awakens was an event. Last Jedi was a tragedy. I agree. Rise of Skywalker is it was basically a funeral, buddy. Is basically what it was. Hail to you as well. Thank you, Joe. And that's what it kind of felt like at the time. Deeple 101 sends in 5 and says Rogue One and Attack of the Clones are the same movie. Both are largely forgettable and are only remembered for the last quarter act. Ahoy, chat and panel. I know 6 probably will disagree with this, but yeah, Attack of the Clones is not one of my favorites of the prequels either.
I would take Attack of the Clones over Rogue One any day of the week. Sorry, go on, 6.
So would I.
Oh,
All
easily.
6 of George Lucas's Star Wars movies are perfect in my opinion. I respect other people's opinions. So, well,
For
that's not
me,
true.
Yeah.
I
I
respect
actually
other
like
people's right to have an opinion.
I actually like the third act. I actually really like the third act of Attack of the Clones. I feel like for me, what weighs it down is the second act. It's really way too bogged down and talking. But overall, that third act though was really good in Attack of the Clones.
I'm not going to say what my problem is with it because then Six will get all mad and we'll get into a big fight.
And then
I'll
I'll
tell her to calm
overreact.
down and I'll
No,
tell her
go
to
ahead.
quit overreacting.
Say
He
it,
doesn't
Tom.
like all
Hey,
that lovey
at least
dovey.
she's
Don't
still
hold
passionate.
back.
At least she's still passionate about good Star Wars. So I'll give
No,
her
we
that.
got other stories to talk about, but no, I
Right.
actually don't hate. I mean, I think the first half is kind of boring and slow. There's cool elements in it. I love Dexter. I love certain things like that. I love when Obi-Wan's doing all the stuff on the planet
But
Coruscant.
that third act, man. Come
But that
on.
third
you can't
act,
deny that third
it's
act
good.
is-
It's good up until, and here's my issue, because I was all like fucking jazzed when Yoda come in, and I'm like, yes, he's gonna come and lay the fucking smack down, and I'm expecting Yoda to be like Mr. Miyagi, kind of cool. And the moment he opens up his cloak and that fucking lightsaber comes out, and he's got this little baby lightsaber, and he starts jumping around like a frog.
Oh, I lost my mind saying that. Yoda's my
I was like,
favorite.
what the hell is
in the
this?
movies.
To
It
me,
was kinda
honestly, it would have
weird.
been better if Yoda would have been like, I need no lightsaber to beat you, and just use the fucking Force, because
You're
he's
probably
Yoda.
right.
I would have been fine with that.
And
but
I also
love
that
the
extends into the
lightsaber.
third film where I don't think he should have got his ass beat by the Emperor. The Emperor should have had to retreat. That's the way that should have ended. Yoda should have still been stronger, but he hides because he knows all the Jedi are being killed, and he and Obi-Wan are all that's left, so they have to. Right? Like that's what makes more sense to me logically, because Yoda should always be stronger than him, because because he even says it to Luke when he asks him, "Is the dark side stronger?" He says, "No, quicker, more efficient." But it's not stronger though. He says that. So like in that sense, it should have always been that Yoda got the upper hand, but he just like, fucked off somehow. Like, and I always assumed that's how he got screwed up, was his fight with one of the better Jedi. Yes, obviously it was with, Samuel Jackson's Qui-Gon Jinn, but I just didn't like how that fight went down. It just, to me, it was like, nah, I think it should have been, but that again is just my own personal bullshit. But because episode 3 is a much better film overall, I'm not going to lie about that. So that's my main issue. Is I just don't think Yoda should have ever used a lightsaber.
People in the chat are saying that I
I
always
love
don't like
lightsaber.
stuff, that I don't like anything. I don't think that's true. I do like some stuff.
Some.
Like what?
Some.
No, but even in some of my critiques that I say, like
He
the
did
worst
just say
things
he
that-
liked SNL just a little bit ago.
Yeah,
or
I said
Saturday
that,
night.
and I said that I didn't dislike Attack of the Clones. And let's say with Rogue One, I'm also honest. I said I like the third act. I think that the first 2 acts are embarrassing, and I really feel that way. Like I won't just say I don't like or I like something just for the heck of it. Even movies that I leave reviews that I give kind of lower grades or just barely passing grades, I'll find stuff that like I'll say I like this, but if there's a lot of stuff that doesn't work, I'm going to point it out. I don't know. Maybe I'm not so forgiving sometimes. What can I do?
Just be honest.
Exactly. Hi, Courtney.
That is the price of reason.
And it's free.
It is
You're on
free,
Midnight's Edge After Dark.
but it does come at a cost. It still does. And I don't think we read that super chat that I had on screen, so I'm going to find it. Here it is. Yeah, we did read this. Yeah, we did. I just wanted to make sure. And then we got Walter Tomaszewski, who says, OT panel, how did you like Wild Robot? I have not seen it yet, Walter, but I've heard good things. I think some of us have seen it here.
I wanted to see it, and I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay, so Nick saw
Absolutely
it.
loved it. We of course we own the movie. Yeah, I took my kids to see it opening weekend, and it was awesome. We had such a good time with it. And my kids we rewatched it too. I thought it was excellent. It was a bit of a sleeper hit because they only opened up to like 30 something million opening weekend, but they ended up doing like 110 more million domestically, and they did well overseas. It's based off a successful series of children's books. My oldest daughter, she's a big fan of those books, and she was happy with the movie. And she's definitely the type who will point out if something is really abhorrently wrong. she's the same one who even called out when she saw Superman. She was like, how come Crypto's not a Labrador? Because she knows her dogs and she knows I know Superman. So she's like her dad in that regard. But yeah, we really enjoyed The Wild Robot. Would recommend if you haven't seen it.
I heard it's a tearjerker.
It's definitely got some really heartfelt moments. It's really good. In the voice acting is really good. I loved it. It's a really great story. And it flies by. It's an hour and a half. I thought it was like an hour and 10. It really flies by. It just goes. It's not trying to tell multiple stories. It has a story and knows what it needs to do, and it's in, it's out, and it's done. Yeah,
What
go
is
watch
O2?
it.
What does OT mean in that?
I don't know.
super chat?
I'm retarded, so I couldn't tell you.
I'm not 100% sure either.
I keep wanting to say OnlyFans, but that starts with an F.
Unless you meant only Tom, or no? Only,
Oh.
no.
Well,
No,
too
it's
late.
Danny, too.
Oh,
No,
only
because
Tom. Sign
yeah.
me up.
you don't want to see that. It's a lot of folds.
Oh, David says it's off topic.
Oh, off topic. Gotcha. Okay, you learn something new every day. See,
Thanks,
Tom
David.
does not internets well, and he is tech-tarded. So that happens. And when that happens, the more Tom knows.
I love that you filmed that
Whoa,
during
we
Halloween.
lost Nick.
Where did Nick go?
I have no idea. His internet must have just went wrong. That or the video kicked him out. ActionCom, here we go with $5. My name is Valenswine. Was that good?
Yeah.
I think so.
It was good, Tom. I really.
And then we got Daryl Brewer, who now knows the answer to everything. So if you have a question, not only is Daryl Brewer a mod,
Yeah.
he's a member for 42 months and he has the answers. So ask him.
Hi,
All
Daryl.
right. Congratulations, Daryl, and thank you for your support and your help as well. You're always a help. Jason Webster sends in 5 Australian, says the trauma code Heroes on Call is about a field of medical surgeons for a mercenary group who become the head of an ER department at a hospital in Seoul. And there's karate. Is that about right?
Is there really karate?
I hope so. Karate makes everything better. And Tim Hayes is almost there. He's been here for 40 months, 2 more months, and he'll know everything. So get ready, kids. Tim is almost there. Thank you, Tim, for the support. And speaking of support, this is a supportive gent right here. Kalekioki sends in $1.99. Says, Price, is there anything you do like?
Price likes pussy.
You hope so. How do you know he's not gay?
Yeah.
God, I hope he is. Black and gay. Oh.
That would
be
help us out
awesome.
a lot here, actually.
You know, it reminded me when I found out about Ricky Martin coming out. I was so happy. I was like, yes, less competition.
Oh my God.
I told you the world needs more gay cats. So, is there anything you do like? Price likes a lot of good stuff. What's probably some of your favorite things? I guess is a good place to start.
Of course, stuff that's good. I like if there's action movies that are fun to watch. I like science fiction if it's good. Probably before around 2015, 16, there was a lot of stuff that I liked.
So if things are good, then you like them. Is that basically, am I kind of summarizing?
No, I mean,
that?
I like the Back to the Future trilogy. I like Indiana Jones. I like the Rocky movies. I like Rambo.
Gotcha.
I like
the last movie that you walked out of that you thought, oh, that was great?
Did you like Nosferatu quite a bit?
I did. I actually thought that Nosferatu, when I walked out, I was really impressed with it, and I thought that I'd watched a good movie. That's probably the best movie I've seen in 2024. I felt really good walking out of Godzilla -1. It's unfortunate that these days I don't have a lot of situations that I walk out and I'm like, wow, I really like this. I like Top Gun Maverick. I walked out of that feeling, okay, really like this movie. I enjoyed Mission Impossible, that one that people didn't like. I actually liked it. So yeah, sometimes I walk out of a movie and I'm like, okay, I like the experience. Recently I saw Sonic 3. Okay, I didn't like that one as much as some of the other movies I just saw, but I thought that it was a fun movie. I didn't dislike it either.
There you go.
You know,
There's a
Price
few
is when
things.
Price reviews a movie, because I do actually watch his videos. He doesn't just talk about how it was terrible and how he didn't enjoy it and this was bad and that was bad. He gives a genuine review, which he also has his opinion in. So like we all tease him about it, but he does do good movie reviews.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd be surprised. You think that I'll say a movie like I'm not so excited about, and then you'll see that I actually gave it like a passing grade, maybe not with flying colors, but I'll say, listen, I like the acting and I liked a few things about it. It's just a real missed opportunity. And maybe in that case, I won't rave about it, but maybe I'll just say it's kind of barely passable.
There you go. And then Jason Webster sends in another $5 Australian dues, and I'm thinking he's just starting to send in money just to hear me say that.
I like hearing you say it.
You're not the only one who said that. A few people do, and I think he's one of them. Last Jedi 2017 and Rise of Skywalker 2019 are SHIT, stupefyingly hideous, inane tripe. Well, I guess
I would agree with that.
It's shit either way. TCB Titan says with a Canadian $5, Yoda should have used the Force to manipulate the saber and have basically sat. That would have even been made more sense. That still, unless Dooku got close enough that needed to die. Because that's my point, is like he's not of the stature to be able to be effective with a little baby lightsaber. It just does. And then I love watching the making of that too. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, because that's got one of my favorite clips of George where they're doing the bit for it, and the guy who's doing the CGI for Yoda, he's like, I got a problem with the robe. He's like, well, what's the problem? He's like, well, you see when he flips here and he does this, it just doesn't look right. And he's all this stuff. He's like, well, have it flow like this. And he's like, yeah, but that's not what it would do. He's like, yeah, I know it's not scientifically accurate, but it's artistically accurate.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I just love George's little saying.
I wonder what it's like to like live your life thinking you know better than George Lucas.
I don't say I know
George
better.
Lucas
I just
movie.
love his little sayings because they make sense, but they're like, what is artistically accurate? It's not a thing.
I'll be in the back.
George could just say, you know what?
Calm down.
It's not factually accurate, but it was what my this was. What
I know what he
leaning
meant
more
by
towards
it.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I get you're having fun with George Lucas, but yeah, George could just say, you know what? This is just what I prefer. He could just been more honest.
6,
about
come
it.
back. I'm just kidding.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Woo!
Deeple 101 says with 5, says outside of the final fight, the only part of Attack of the Clones that's awakening is Natalie Portman in that one leather dress scene. Yes, oh my, only Tom. Well, actually, it's more of like is it a dress? I thought it was
The
like
heaving bosoms.
Yeah, the
Where
leather
she's got
get
that
up,
tight bodice. Yeah,
the BDSM
hot.
bit,
I love it.
where she's like telling Anakin, "Keep your shit in your pants," while she's like heaving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that's the most ridiculous. She's like, you have to you keep like pure thoughts or whatever she tells him, and like she
Oh,
couldn't wear
God.
something less revealing and less
It
appealing.
was obvious she
Right.
wanted his ass. Anyway, Jason Webster sends in 5 Australian dues. It says, gather around, kids. Tom is going to read from the Necronomicon before bed. Get back in the basement! God, ever since I read that book. Anyway, speaking of Captain America, because you said you just saw it, Price. So we actually have a write-up that came originally from, who was it, Variety or, I think, it's one of their paywall things. So we got the comicbooknew.com version of it here, comic book movie version of it here. But anyway, we've got some details about the frustrating reshoots, plural, because somebody tried arguing with me yesterday that there was only one round of reshoots. And I'm like, bullshit.
No, this looks like a movie when I saw it.
So yeah, what'd you think of it before we get into the story?
Listen, they're as good as you can be at trying to stitch something together that seemingly makes sense. They did their best to try to do that. But there's something, we were talking about Nosferatu that I saw recently. One of the things that I really liked about it is that I felt that there was one director with a vision really, really bringing his vision to life. It's like you could tell that is a well, in my opinion, well-directed movie. It's well put together. The opposite feeling of this movie, that just feels like there is no vision, there is no direction. It's just kind of, because of all this reshoots and stitching around, they're just frantically trying to explain why this character went from A to B. And there's so little character and personality to it. It really feels almost like an AI screenplay.
Basically what Martin Scorsese said.
I don't know. Did he watch this movie?
No, but what you just said was what he kind of said. He said these movies are not cinema.
Well,
Right,
I
in
mean,
so many words.
I would argue that the first Iron Man movie was cinema. I just would argue that Captain America 4 isn't cinema, if you understand what I mean. Like the first Iron Man that Jon Favreau did, I don't agree with Scorsese on that. I
Yeah,
think that
no.
you have a character with a real arc. You have him go through changes and go through a process with himself. You have a villain who reveals himself, and then you have a showdown. It's simple, but it works, and all the aspects of that movie together, they work. Captain America 4 just seems like something cobbled together, and it sort of makes sense, I guess. But if you really stop to think, why is this character doing this? Why is that character doing that? There aren't clear motivations. You don't really feel it. Just there's
Because
something about
plot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it reminded me a bit of Rise of Skywalker in the sense that it's just kind of doing something just for the sake of doing it. But I don't feel like a passionate filmmaker making a movie.
There you go. Well, there's your overview of it. So let's see what this article has to say, unless somebody else wants to read this for me. I'll start here. Captain
I
America
can
Brave
read it.
New... You want to, you can. Go for it. Here,
Well,
I'll give you
usually
the link.
you like to read, but I will if you don't want to.
I don't like to read. That's...
Captain America Brave New World is only Marvel Studios' third rotten movie in just shy of 2 decades. There are clearly lessons to be learned from this one, though, and Vulture has just published a bombshell report about alleged issues behind the scenes. The site, part of the New York Magazine family, has spoken to a technical crew member who worked on the movie and has supposedly been part of several MCU projects in recent years. The insider details a troubled production during reshoots, including a general level of indecisiveness regarding what sort of movie Captain America Brave New World should be. They reference bad test screenings, which lines up with what we heard several months ago, and an uneasiness surrounding how the story mirrors recent real-life events. They claim Harrison Ford was difficult to work with. Another source close to the production told the site there's no truth to that, and suggests everyone involved struggled to get Captain America Brave New World across the finish line. Should I keep going?
Yeah.
Here are some excerpts from their statements. Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
You're fine.
I worked on the reshoot. Okay, here's the quote. I worked on the reshoots. I think everyone on the crew knew this was probably not going to be a good film. Some of the action sequences were not believable. We had a lot of frustrations on set. After principal photography was finished, it was like, oh, we're going to introduce the leader of the Serpent Society. It was on, then it was off, then it was on again. That's very expensive to do. My coworkers who spent more time in Brave New World than I did said, yeah, this has been a real rough production. When the studio had its test in front of an audience, it didn't respond. Maybe they don't want to see anything political in an election year. Maybe they were divided on who they were voting for. General Ross reads as an allusion to Trump. He's this very powerful general who becomes kind of a fascist and turns into a raging Red Hulk. This is my opinion, but I think Disney was realizing, hey, we've been bleeding for a while. Let's try not to piss our core base off any more than we have been over the last couple years. They know you're going to lose a lot of your audience that way. Harrison Ford was one of the crankiest performers I ever dealt with, which was sad. I'm a fan, but he was very much a diva. I don't know if you remember, but he got in a plane crash. He couldn't even raise his left arm above his chest. We have to suit up 80-something Harrison Ford in these motion capture dots. To me, it seemed like he hated it and didn't want to do it. And when Harrison was done, he was done. Everyone was trying to scramble to make him happy. That made for a very awkward work environment. Reshoots are part of making any movie like this with a big budget, but this isn't Marvel's first rodeo. Entire sequences we shot won't make it into the film, and that's very expensive. I'm not going to say the director was not equipped to handle that production. Basically dealing with A-list egos was the issue. It was mainly just Harrison Ford. So that was a little disappointing. At the end of the day, it was the most tense Marvel shoot I've ever worked on. Everyone kind of felt their buttholes tightening a little bit. It's like, ugh.
So Harrison Ford was cranky, aka Another Day That Ends in Y.
I gotta finish this Marvel movie.
Let's shoot this piece of shit.
Who doesn't have a cranky day at work?
Well, who doesn't have a cranky Harrison Ford inside them all?
Right. I mean,
I want to go home. I want to smoke weed. I don't want to be here.
he's also not 20 years old, to be fair. I can understand that his, I know, I don't know how to say this nicely, but he's in his 80s. I assume that,
Hey.
just bring.
We gotta
I would
honest.
be cranky.
Alice Cooper and Ric Flair have both been 60 years old for the last 40 years. We can say the same thing about Harrison Ford too.
No, but all I'm saying is that when you're in your 80s, you have less patience for people. Some people, what I'm saying is, even if you're not Harrison Ford and you're in your 80s and somebody wants you to do a bunch of stuff all day, you may be cranky even then. So I don't know if it's so much diva as much as the guy is like, just doing this movie.
No, I think he's on his last couple movies, and at this point, he just doesn't have the patience for the nonsense that Marvel is.
Right.
It's a lot like Star Wars, and that's not the kind of shit that he has.
Right.
He doesn't have patience for this green screen, a bunch of action effects sequences, because he liked getting down and dirty with Indiana Jones, and unfortunately, he can't do that kind of shit anymore.
Right.
So all he gets to do is sit back and
the first week of the job when he tries again and again.
So I mean, at this point, I can see where he's at. He's at the end of his run. This movie was probably a big paycheck for him. He probably did it half as a favor for somebody else on top of it all. You know what I mean? Like, because this was all last minute, him being brought in here. For those who don't remember, it was William Hurt who originally played the part, right? Am I remembering the right actor?
You are remembering correctly.
Yeah, so and he passed away suddenly. Well, not suddenly. Everybody kind of knew he was sick, but he didn't let everybody know he was sick until late in the game. They replaced him instead of just having him pass away off screen, because they even established that he was sick as the character, which is weird. Why they did that, and then they turn around and recast him. But whatever. That being said, so that's why he's even here. So I'm at this point where it's like, do I think it's nice of him, or he should be acting that way? No, but am I surprised? Fuck no. The rest of this shit just sounds like I would be cranky too if they didn't know what the hell they were doing half the time. And that's what it sounds like to me.
He doesn't even say what specifically he did. Like, was he yelling at craft services? Was he calling the production assistant sugar tits? What exactly did he do? Oh, he seemed cranky. Like all that big long quote that I just wrote or read said was that, oh, I feel like he this, and he seemed like
he
that.
Was difficult and cranky, yeah.
There's no specific. Give me a specific example. Like if you presented that, if you read that to Harrison Ford and he was like, what are you talking? What did I do? Tell me specifically, what did I do?
Yeah,
because that's what I want. I want an example.
I can see from the other end of this, Harrison Ford, first of all, you're working with a director who's young and doesn't really know what he's doing yet. And Harrison Ford's somebody who doesn't really have patience. So you got to kind of just explain it to him. You just got to kind of tell him exactly what you want and he'll do it. He's not somebody who gives a shit about what motivates the Red Hulk. You know what I mean? He probably don't even know what the fuck a Red Hulk was until he read the script. And even then he's still like,
he probably didn't even watch the previous movies. He doesn't even care.
He's never seen him. I guarantee you.
Never seen them. He doesn't even care.
And he has a very dry sense of humor.
Yeah,
so
that's too. That too, 6.
Joking about something, and somebody was like, "Oh,
I'm going to tell you something. He didn't ruin the movie for me. It's not that I look at it and I think, oh, it's Harrison Ford's fault that the movie isn't good. The writing isn't good. You could tell that he's a professional. When they gave him a scene, he did whatever he was told to do in the scene. I mean, does he seem cranky and grumpy? Whatever. I mean, it's a dumb movie and it's a dumb screenplay. I don't think that he did the bare minimum.
You can tell by the interviews how he feels about a movie. And when he does the interviews like he does for these, where he's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. That means he really doesn't give a shit. Because you can tell in the movies where he really gets into the movies, he does talk about them. And he does get into it and he does have some sort of emotional investment in them. But they're far and few between anymore. So again, I think he's doing these mainly for a paycheck. And yeah, I think 6 is right. You got a lot of like pussy Gen Zers and shit like that who can't fucking, deal with somebody who's not, chipper and gay all the fucking time in both meaning of the word. So in that sense, they see somebody like Harrison Ford and he's just like, leave me the fuck alone. And it's like, they're just like, oh, he's so mean and cranky. You know, it's like, well, and he's probably just like, at the end of the day, he's like, I've been here for 15 hours in fucking pajamas with ping pong balls on. What the fuck do you want from me? It's like, really, why is he even doing that? Why isn't there just somebody else doing it?
What I'm trying to say is that even a grumpy, disinterested Harrison Ford is still a better actor than a lot of like interested people that I've seen. So when I watched the movie, I thought that the writing was really poor and it was stitched together badly, and the second act is boring. It's so boring. But when I see him on screen, it's not like I think, oh, he's not doing what was expected of him. It's a really, really kind of very poor storytelling.
Well, and I'm not, and obviously, I mean, he is a lefty. He did promote Kamala. They were not.
They all love Kamala.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, I was going to ask Price a question. Did you feel in the movie that there was still elements of this Trump story? Because Harrison Ford actually did talk a little bit about that when they announced him at the Comic-Con. I can't remember which one it was because it's so long ago now, right? Like that was the thing. Like they started shooting this, 2 years ago now, 3 years ago almost. So like, yeah, whenever that was, he did mention something about Trump. Then,
you know what the thing is that maybe the reason why I didn't focus too much on that aspect is that I think that it's been already well established through all the castings and different versions of even in the comics or wherever you've seen Thaddeus Ross, he's usually like a douche. So the fact that he would be like a cranky older douche here, it's not like a shocker to me. I'm like, I can't believe they did that to this character. No, that's kind of how I expect him to be. So I guess because of that, I wasn't thinking every second, oh, it's Trump. Oh, it's Trump. But there were moments that maybe he said something. There were moments that I could tell that maybe whoever initially wrote it thought that this would be a little bit of a, Trump allegory or whatever it is. But I don't know if they corrected or whatever they did. It's not the main thing that drives. I don't feel like you're just watching Trump all the time. I just feel like the movie isn't good regardless. If all the movie was great and there was just a lot of weird propaganda, that would be another thing. But when the storytelling is so poor, I kind of feel like, I almost don't even notice that other stuff. But maybe if I really reanalyzed it, there may be some moments that were still left there, but it wasn't as aggressive as Marvel has been doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your rating on it, Price?
I don't know. It's not a passing grade. I can't give this movie a passing grade. It's I have to think about it, but it's not only it's not a passing grade. Passing grade is a 60. It's also not going to be like 57. You know what I mean? I just have to think because I want to try to think if there was anything I liked about it. If I had to say something, I still think that Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, I like seeing them on screen, and I don't mind their when they're there performing, but it's also not enough to make the movie good.
There you go. And then we got Kalekioki who says, like messing with you, Price, means I like you. No homo.
Gay.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.
People are asking if I think it's I give it a rental. I don't even think it's really worth rental. Like if it ever arrives on one of the streaming services, or if you're visiting India or something like that, and suddenly the movie, is there. Maybe if you're having trouble sleeping, and you're it's late at night, you're in bed, and you're like, I'll throw this movie on. Maybe that'll be the right setting for it.
So I just looked at the Rotten Tomatoes thing. So here's what's interesting. When you look at all critics, it's actually higher at 52, but under the top critics, aka I guess the shills of the shills, it's actually at a 38, shockingly.
Oh wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, I think so. I actually thought it would have been the other way around. If you had told me going in, I would have expected to be the other way, but man, here we are in 2025. And it's already weird, and the score is backwards as far as the critics are concerned. So yeah, it's the movie's taking a bit of a beating, and it seems to be as bad, ratings wise, according to the critics, as Eternals.
Well, I mean, you get to a point where some of these critics, you had to imagine sooner or later
they had to fold.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't pretend to like this anymore.
Yeah, you can't keep pretending to like this garbage and have people taking you seriously because your credibility goes out the window.
Oh, right? Absolutely. you can only lie so much, and like it's so weird because like I was watching some of the ones who do all like the Twitter posts like every time a movie comes out, and you could say it's just like, wow, you guys are so afraid to just say it was okay or it was not the worst, but it was not great, or like it's like they are just really picking at the scraps trying to say that it's good. It's like they're really afraid of saying that it's nothing less than a 9 or a 10 out of 10, which is really weird because you would think these guys would think in their own heads, man, I said that about that 5 straight movies now. Maybe people are going to think that my scores are not really authentic if I give them all the same score. Like, do they not like consider that, or are they just really that soulless when it comes to their own properties? Sorry, their own reviews. I meant to say, are they really that soulless when it comes to their own reviews? I mean, I couldn't do that. I love money, but I couldn't be bought to do that. I really
think
could
they
not.
know their review when they walk into the theater.
Yeah, and I think that plays into it. But here's the thing: I hear though, and I do think that's true for a lot of people. But I'd like to think there's at least some who come out of it differently, whether it's like more enthusiastic or even less enthusiastic after. I mean, there's been times where I've gone in something, very enthusiastic, even overly, and I came out like, or crap. And then of course there's things where I've gone in with either a pessimistic outlook or even on the fence outlook, and I'm like, oh hey, so and so is okay.
Well,
Yeah, I watched Captain America Winter Soldier last night, just like prepping for, because I had planned to see it today.
That's a great movie.
Holy shit, I hadn't watched that movie in years. That movie is so fucking good.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
Yeah,
and I thought,
it is.
wow, what a gut punch this movie Brave New World is
really
gonna be.
good. It's really good. I love all three of them. The first one, The Winter Soldier, Civil War, I love them all. I'm a big fan of those movies. So yeah, we had a good run with Captain America, and nowadays we don't have Captain America anymore.
Nope.
And Storm King, I did say that. That's because that's a nod to our old friend Clobbering Times. He gets the credit for that name. So yeah, Clobby was the creator of Eternals. So I get credits for names like Soy Chi, though. Soy Chi's all mine.
Well, on that note, we got one more story I wanted to cover before we get the heck out of here because I got some work I got to do.
Wait, can I ask, are we going to do any kind of spoiler? I just have a spoiler question for Price. But
I don't think anyone on planet Earth cares about spoilers.
Is Chris Evans in the movie?
No, he's not in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Oh, do you think there may have been a version that was shot that had a cameo? Do you wonder if there's like a version that was shot
potentially?
Were there any interesting cameos?
I can think of.
Spoil them. No one cares.
Nobody really cares. It's like by the time this cameo shows up, it's just so like nobody gives a shit at that point. But there is one that I can think of. I'm trying to think if there's other ones. I can think of one cameo. If there were more, I just simply don't remember them now, which is really bad because I just saw the movie. But there's one very clear cameo.
Spit it out. Come on. I know who it is. Just spit it out.
Fine, I'll just say it. It's Bucky. There's like a part where like it goes up.
I already knew he was going to be in that. I thought we already knew. I thought he was either in a trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody assumed.
They promoted it as if he wasn't in it. Actually, there was an ad saying, "Oh, it's the first one that doesn't have Bucky in it." There was.
I'm going to be honest with you that actually, if they would have utilized Bucky properly and at least thrown him into the mix here, I think it probably would have been better. There was a lot of stuff that didn't work about Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I didn't mind seeing Falcon and Bucky working together. That wasn't the part that I didn't like, and I think that between that crappy show and this crappy movie, there was probably one decent movie that could have been made with these two characters in whatever format, even if they're not Captain America and they're just Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There was probably a cool movie that could have been made, but it became very political with the show. And in this movie, I'll say that I didn't feel as much of an Orange Man situation because maybe, like I said, the guy was like not an established, not so good character. But there was one thing that carried over. if you remember Falcon and Winter Soldier, they had that character Isaiah, who was like the older Captain America guy. They brought that character out so that he could lecture about how, sorry, I don't know how else to say it, that black people weren't treated nicely and that they won't like Sam because he's black or whatever it is that they talk about there. So I thought to myself that was part of the weaker, some of the weaker parts of the original Falcon and Winter Soldier show. I had hoped that they wouldn't revisit that. The movie starts within like 5 seconds. That character is already there. It's like they want you to know like he's back, and they're like tripling down on that like whole Isaiah thing. I could have done without that. I just like the fact that it reminded me of that crappy show wasn't good, but that's maybe another cameo.
And then what about was there a post-credit scene?
There was a post-credit scene.
It's already technically on X, yeah.
It was a post-credit scene. There's only one, and I had to wait through all of the credits, which was really, really painful because the movie was so boring as it was. But by the time that end credit scene arrived, it felt very anticlimactic. There's one thing, I think that you've seen it in newspapers, and it's like a bullshit cameo. It's really a bullshit cameo. I feel okay saying it because I don't think I'm spoiling anything, and I don't think anybody gives a shit. Liv Tyler, her
Betty Ross, the Incredible Hulk.
So the thing is that part of the reason this is so dumb. Remember that she was with an Incredible Hulk that doesn't even exist. She was with Edward Norton that was recast.
Well, he's technically the same Hulk, but yeah.
Right, and then you had the father, which was like William Hurt, and now it's Harrison
Who's now been
Ford.
recast, yeah.
So I'm saying, like, it's like she's not, you don't think of her and really think of a connection to any of these characters. So the whole cameo, first of all, nobody is thinking of that Incredible Hulk movie and about Liv Tyler right now anyways. But under the circumstances, it's not like her appearance really does anything. It's not like, it doesn't have any kind of real weight to it, even within the franchise. And the odder thing is that when you see her, it almost feels like an AI Liv Tyler. I know that sounds strange. It's like they didn't quite want to show you her face. If
Why
you ever
does that
watch,
sound strange? That sounds right in line with current year laziness. If anything, that sounds right in line with them.
like there's something weird about her cameo. I could be wrong. I just thought to myself, like, we don't even have one proper shot of her that you just kind of see her. It's this weird kind of thing that you kind of see her from afar. So I didn't know if maybe Liv Tyler, and I don't want to offend anybody, maybe she got a lot of plastic surgery and she doesn't want people to see her, or
it was also probably shot somewhere completely different on a green screen or something.
Yeah,
too,
or maybe
possibly.
like they shot it like in a different place. Maybe
I don't think she's listening, so you're not going to offend anybody.
maybe they shot it late in the game. I mean, even if she is listening, I will say that
If you are a
back
big
in the
fan,
day,
Liv,
I really liked her, and I like what she did in Lord of the Rings, and I don't have any issue with Liv Tyler. I'm just saying that right now something was weird about the way that I felt she was inserted into this movie. I could be wrong. Maybe one day somebody else can watch it and say what they think, but I just thought there was something visually weird about it.
Did you ever see the set photos of when the wrestler Seth Rollins was on set for the movie? Because I know his stuff got completely cut out. Seriously, he looked like a retarded cheetah. It was mind-boggling. I was like, what is this skunk doing on the set? I'm so glad he got cut out. You know, I don't want to see it.
I think they replaced him with Giancarlo Esposito with Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That part with, like, you could tell that they added that character late in the game. Most of the time when you see like Fring, it's probably a situation where he's either by himself, like talking into a phone, or in a scene with like Sam Wilson. I'm trying to think if there were like scenes with him in another place and other actors. And there's one part that really, like, Sam arrives on some base and there's a bunch of people, and suddenly he's just like, it's like it cuts to a whole different thing where he's just talking to Giancarlo Esposito by himself. And you're just thinking to yourself, what? How did he get from here to there exactly? Where are all the people? It just feels like it really, those were moments that it felt very stitched together.
All right.
So we got one super chat.
Yeah, we got one here from Sabretooth Raptor for 5 who says, a better movie to watch, Captain Iron Elf versus Red Hulk Elmo and Wonderful Strange Vampire Jurassic Park Lawyer outsmarting T-Rex. Somebody's got to send me this damn video. I have not seen it yet. I've heard enough about it. The Jurassic Park AI video. Somebody's got to send it to me because I've not seen it yet. I'm like the only person I think that hasn't. Unless
and
you
then
guys
send it to
haven't.
me because I want to see it.
I'll
too.
send it to you yet. Yeah. So, but yeah, there was one other story I wanted to cover here before we go, just to prove that I am a good sport about it. According to the Pat Man, they are supposed to start filming at the end of this year.
Yay! I can't
So
wait.
there you go. I'm pretty sure this was mainly because the Penguins' success. But I
Well,
love
and-
the excuses they're coming up with what took so long. But yeah.
He said that he knows what the story's about, and it's cool. Oh
Yeah, and
right
actually there
It's
was
cool.
a story from 2 days ago where Andy Serkis, I guess, has seen the story too. So the script must be done or close to being done. So here's his.
When are we seeing Batman?
It's really quiet.
I mean, 2026.
I can hear it.
Shooting on it or what?
We haven't shot it yet.
Oh, you haven't shot it. When do you start shooting it?
I think end of the year.
Okay,
yeah,
I see.
yeah.
I thought
It's
it
a while.
I thought you shot some stuff that was interrupted. No.
That was the first one.
Got it.
I know. Everything feels so long ago because it's because of COVID just erased
So
3
you shoot
years.
it right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
Give us a sense
your
of
movie
the
was
story.
after the
No,
Kung
yeah.
Flu.
It's cool though. It's cool.
I
no,
know,
but he was
right?
filming during.
How
the
did-
Yeah,
They were
I know,
filming
but it's been a
during it.
lifetime since the movie was even theatrically released.
True.
I
How did
get,
that
yes, there was
journalist-
a long period from when he got casted to the theatrical release of The Batman. I get it, but since that movie even came out, it has been a freaking lifetime as well.
What are you
Sorry.
saying, Six?
How did that journalist get right up, red rope access, interviewing Robert Pattinson, and he doesn't even know the Batman 2 hasn't been filmed yet?
That's a good question.
That's annoying.
Well, there's two microphones there. One's Deadline, and I can't see what the other one is. It's a Deadline thing, so it must be the Deadline guy that asked it, or he was next to that guy and he just used it. One of the
Maybe
two.
the movie guy was out sick, and he's actually the sports guy.
Because I'm trying to, I can't make out. It's something RO,
With
like
your
you can't.
pillow?
Yeah, baby. As you see here, you got the Deadline mic here, and then you got this other guy's mic here, and I can't see.
Is that Roku? Oh, it ends
it's
in an
not.
I.
I thought it was Roku at first, but then I seen the AI. Yeah, and I'm like, that's weird, or something like that. So I was like, okay, so I don't know if the Deadline guy was the one who actually asked him, or if this person asked him and Deadline just stole it. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so yeah, they have to actually start filming them. Good for them, but I mean, the Penguin was enough of a success. I'm not surprised. So there you go, and it does sound like the story is done, as Six was pointing out. So all you fans of the Batman, there you go, or the Patman.
I like the movie, but I don't really care if they make another one or not.
The first hour was okay, then it got a little tedious, and then the last hour would just completely pissed me off.
Tom and I made a hefty bet on whether this movie sees the theater or not, so that's really why I'm
Did
interested.
we?
Mhm.
How much do I owe you then?
It's going to be $100.
Oh, $100? Okay.
I will surprise people that
remember.
I didn't necessarily dislike that movie. I thought that it had issues, but
I can't believe Six didn't talk me into trying
Hold on,
stripping or
I gotta do
something.
Team America style vomit.
I'm still impressed that I managed to just get you to bet $100 and not something more humiliating.
Why does Nick throwing up make you think of stripping?
Because nobody wants to see my naked ass body.
Well, I was thinking about price liking the Batman.
I mean,
So-
the thing is,
I'll keep doing that. I'll watch that, but I'm not gonna watch.
I like to watch.
I agree with Six. It's not necessarily a movie that I was itching to see a sequel to. It kind of felt like an okay one-off or whatever it was. But I didn't love Pattinson as Batman, especially when he plays Bruce Wayne and the whole emo thing. Like there were things that legitimately annoyed me, and the lecture, what's her name, Zoe Kravitz, about like white people or whatever. There were things that did annoy me about this movie, and it did kind of drag on. But there was a certain atmosphere to it, and I think at the time I hadn't seen a even semi-decent comic book movie in the theater for a while, and I sat there and watched it, and I, with its flaws, I still kind of enjoyed it. It's not, I won't like put it on my top like.
Anyhow,
but I still, like, enjoyed it.
Sorry, I bumped
Price-
you up there for a minute, Price, because I was sick of hearing you praise the Batman.
Price, did you like Morbius?
No, not really.
Morbius is glorious.
Curious.
It even rhymes.
You know, I'm actually kind of at ease that Price didn't like Captain America: Great Reset, because I would have been really freaked out if he liked that. That would have been like frightened me to death. Like, you must be
Yeah.
like an undercover Fed who took away the real price of reason. I would
Well,
have
if
been
there's any book fans out there,
I
this
love
is some
books.
news. I guess that didn't help none to make it any bigger. It looks like as of February 2025, the 26th of February, you're no longer going to be able to download books via USB from Kindle. You'll have to be on your Wi-Fi enabled device. Fuckers. So another win for physical media, as the We Love Physical Media guy says here. So,
They
yeah,
keep
so heads
validating
up.
why we need physical media every day.
I don't think I've ever downloaded a book. I'm a hard copy
Yeah.
reader.
So basically what this is for those who don't know, like if you have like a Kindle thing and you're on vacation somewhere, you don't have Wi-Fi, you used to be able to download the books so you could read them when they're offline. I think you can even download them to your device still too, but I don't know if that's going to change. It says, yeah, I guess you can still do it to the device and that's it. So that might still work, but just not a USB. So that's the only thing that's changed. But yeah, it's still another good reason to have physical media, because it's just one more step of them taking it away from you, as always. I'll never think it's unironic that I'll never think it's not ironic, or did I say it right the first time?
Isn't it ironic?
Don't you think? When they took down 1984 off their site, the book, and they took it from everybody. I don't know
Who
if y'all
did?
remember
Kindle?
that. Yeah. Because they
No, I don't
lost the
remember
rights to it. Yeah, it was kind of funny. It was like, so I said, like, of all the books, irony of ironies. But yeah. Anyhow, with that, I think we're going to wrap this up. There was some other stuff we could have talked about, but I got a lot to do, and I'm sure you guys do too. So, Six, what do you got going on? Anything?
I got literally nothing going on.
Well, you can watch Cobra Kai.
I think I'm going to go stand on the corner. Maybe somebody will throw me a ring.
That's not how that works.
Maybe the end of my driveway.
Either way, it's probably going to send the wrong signal.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, you might make enough money to buy a ring, but the kind of guys that are going to roll up on you probably aren't going to put a ring on that finger. They're thinking you're selling something completely
Ouch,
different.
Tom.
I'm just saying.
Words hurt.
They're thinking you're out there on the street selling, ice cream or something.
Ice cream. I literally have nothing going on.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a really good maple caramel flavored ice cream in my freezer. I gotta get a hold of. It's really good. It's to die for. And it
Yes,
really,
yes,
yes,
you
it's
did just call me a
diabolical.
hooker.
It's diabolical.
Those guys are going to be more apt to have a cock ring than they will have a finger ring. I'm just saying.
I worked at a pharmacy that sold those. Is that a normally, and this was a long time ago, I was assistant manager. Is that something that is normally sold at pharmacies? Like a serious question. Okay. Apparently, yes, because
I don't know.
three people on this panel, I'm pretty sure, know the answer. That's okay.
I'm not saying on the air.
Because I can't ask that kind of stuff to my coworkers at work because I might get fired for some type of.
Was it one of those ones that had like a little vibrator attached to it?
No, it was just a ring.
Weird. Okay. I have seen things like that, but I can't say I've just seen a cock ring in like a drugstore.
You've never. Oh.
You gotta understand. I wouldn't know.
Sex shops,
I'm
yes.
oblivious. I'm oblivious and retarded together as one. I wouldn't know if they have these things there because to me, like if Walgreens needs to have like maybe things I need to get for my children, like when they're sick, and that's about it. Other than that, I couldn't tell you anything else that's there.
Nick gets lost in the candy aisle.
Fifth Avenue bar sounds really good.
He's like, why was I here? Oh yeah, M&M's.
That's actually happened. Actually, I was like, oh hey, well I'm here. Get pharmacy medicine. Oh, I'll see if they have Fifth Avenue. If they have Fifth Avenue, then I got the Fifth Avenue bar.
Let me pay $4.50 for a Fifth Avenue bar.
$4.50. Jesus,
I don't know.
I haven't
I
had one of
can't-
those in
it's-
forever.
Everything at
Well, they-
Walgreens costs 17 times as much as it does at.
You're
like,
not
Walmart.
wrong.
Oh,
And
yeah.
honestly, you're not too far off from what a standard candy bar probably would cost anymore, $6, because shit, just in your standard like your grocery store or gas station, a candy bar is going to be $2-3 anymore. So yeah, you're probably not far off.
Hmm.
Unless they have a deal, which to them is just normal price, probably $4.50. Yeah, it's a new $3.50. Anyway, what do you got going on, Nick? Anything tonight? You're going to TNT?
I may or may not. So I got to talk to comics because I'm not seeing Captain America Great Reset. So if he's cool with me hanging out to maybe throw in some Cobra Kai input or talk about the Thunderbolt trailer, I'll show up. Otherwise, who knows? I might not even be a part of it. But what I will do, I got Klobby's Comic Shop tomorrow night with the boys. It's gonna be great. I did a video 2 days ago. It's doing pretty well. Seems to be very well received, which is awesome and huge as well. And of course, Toxic Tuesday next week. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Oh, it's going to be filled with lots of whoa. So yeah, come sub to my channel. Enjoy a diabolical time. Make a lot of bad decisions. Call the fire department. Bring your grandma over. Maybe Mike Tyson can come too. See if Gilbert Gottfried's home, and then we'll have a great time.
Did you know that Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves, and George Carlin did their own voices for the first season of the animated Saturday morning cartoon?
Yes.
I didn't know that. What happened in the second season?
It changed. I think it went from ABC to Fox, and they got cheaper, different production company.
That's too
And
bad.
at that point, I think Keanu had started getting much bigger too. And I think they were also shooting the sequel right around that time as well, possibly. So it just wasn't in their schedule, or they just weren't too much. But yeah. No, I didn't know it until years later, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. Then we got Jason Webster sending in another $5 Australian dues as we get ready to close things down. Says the 29th Art Directors Awards Saturday and the 78th BAFTA Awards Sunday are this weekend. Oh yeah, the BAFTAs are coming up. Action Com sends in 5 and says, Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and be sure to hide those receipts. Yes, indeed. I'm talking to you, Mikey. I don't know. Is Mikey going to be better for Valentine's Day? Uh-oh. That's going to suck. Poor Mikey. Hopefully he gets better. We love you, Mikey, if you're listening. Anyway, with that, Price, what do you got coming up?
Well, at 10 p.m., I have Quantum Leap Revisited on my live stream channel. I saw a few people asking me about Quantum Leap in the chat today, so whoever you are out there, if you feel like seeing a classic Quantum Leap rewatch party, 10 p.m. on my live stream
Where are you
channel
guys at
today.
now? Have you gotten through the main show, or are you just doing the recaps, or where are you at now?
No, we do it every week. Another
Yeah, I
episode.
know, but what episode are you
What
on?
season
now?
are
Like-
you on?
We're in season 4, episode.
Okay, so you're not all the way through yet.
No, probably. I think I'm trying to think when we'll be done.
There's 4 seasons or 5?
There's 5 seasons, so maybe at the end of this year, kind of right at the end of the year, maybe we'll be done, which is pretty cool.
What are you going to do after Quantum Leap?
A lot of people are asking. We're obviously gonna find something else that we're passionate about, but for now, it's still too early to say.
I suggest kitty videos.
I think you should do sliders.
No, actually, that's funny because I was going to suggest that one too, but I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Somebody, Storm King, says in the chat they'll be there. I think you subscribe to my main channel. This is on my live stream channel. So many people don't know that I actually have 2 channels.
Kind of like Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Kind of like Midnight's Edge After Dark. Some people just show up to one or the other, and it's really good to subscribe to both of them, because one of them just has these kind of very proper reviews that are usually 5 to 10 minutes long, and the other one has a bunch of kind of live streams, experimental things. So they're both very different.
All right, well, check that out later on tonight over on Price of Reason Live.
You know what I've decided I'm going to do? I'm going to start live streaming on my channel. I was going to do it last weekend and then it didn't happen.
When are you going to start?
And I'm going to invite people on and I'm going to ask them all the questions that I can't ask my coworkers.
I wonder what you could call
We were
that.
getting fired.
You had a few good titles come up with that last one time you brought it up. So there you
Oh my
go.
God, chat was on fire.
Mhm.
Scribes was the best though. Casual 6.
Yeah, I think that would probably does fit the topic well too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, hopefully we look forward to some Casual 6 this weekend at some point, perhaps. Maybe.
Not this weekend. I got to work, but next.
Next
What do
weekend,
you have
perhaps,
coming
maybe?
up, Tom?
Oh, I got to work. I got to get a video done, and so I probably won't be on anything tonight, but I will have the morning show, of course, in the morning tomorrow. So.
Oh, I forgot to say at 11:45 p.m. there's the Night Owl also on
Oh,
my
that's
live
right.
stream channel. That's with Professor R2 and sometimes other guests.
If I don't pass out after my video, maybe I'll pop in there. You never know.
Yeah, no, you're always welcome. But yeah, well, usually when I see you in the chat, I'll send you an invite. But I understand you have your video stuff, so whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I got to get this video done because I got to get it done by a certain time. So, all right, with that, I think we're all caught up on everything. I want to thank everybody out there for watching. All the wrenches in the chat. I see D-Bud swinging a wrench, and I
Daryl was here.
Daryl was here earlier, and Mecha J. Thank you so much to the wrenches and Six for all her help today, and all you guys hit the like button on your way out the door. Oh, I see Mark in the chat as well. I should give him a wrench. What do you think? Should I give Mark a wrench, or is that too much
course.
power to go to his head?
Mark having more power is never a bad thing.
I trust Mark. There you go, Mark. And I've sent him the link a few times to be on the show. He just usually it seems like we can't sync up. But
yeah, I know he usually has stuff going on during the day. He's one of those guys where if he can be on, he will slide in, but he's got to make more room for us men. So eventually he'll get there.
All right. Well, with that, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks again, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. And see you on the rewind.
Cute kitty.
Available now for the first time ever on DVD from Midnight's Edge After Dark Productions. It's My Two Dads, the complete first season starring Mexican Iron Man Tom Connors and Culture Casino. Available now for $19.99 while supplies last.